Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Matt.
I'm Petey.
I'm Kelly.
And we're some of the Veggie boys.
And girls.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, please consider subscribing because we can grow a lot of stuff on the farm, but one thing we can't grow is this channel without your help. Welcome back, everybody. We're getting our morning started off with a lot of activity. We need to load an entire semi-trailer with straw. Now, this is our largest order of straw that we have, and we didn't think we were gonna get them this year because we had heard that they weren't taking straw, but they gave us a call and said they needed 750 bales, and we're like, yeah, we can do that. Perfect timing. Now, we usually fill one large order every single year, and this is the one we've consistently done for the past few years, about 750 bales. We're throwing everything onto the truck, and then we have someone or two people in the middle of the truck that throw it all the way to the front. It becomes much easier to load as we get towards the end, but for now, this is the hard one. Just got our first wagon emptied. We're gonna get this one moved out of the way and then a new one in place. That's good, Daniel, straight back. All right. Now, some of you may notice that this is not our wagon, and that wagon over there is not our wagon. One of our wagons is out of commission. I mean, it just won't turn. The wheel just skips across the ground. It just will not turn. We tried greasing it up. We tried hitting it with a sledgehammer. It wasn't moving. But anyway, now we have two wagons from one of the local farmers. They lent them to us for what we need right now. And we're working on getting them emptied and back to them. And let me just say, we are very thankful because we only had two wagons, but with these two extra wagons, that made four, which makes this job so much easier. Wagon number 2 has now been finished. Daniel's getting that moved out of the way. And then we've got one more wagon we need to take care of, which is the flared side wagons. This is our wagon. Those other wagons are pretty large, but we seem to fit the most straw on this wagon right here. This is a nice wagon. I like this wagon. What a good way to get your day started. Just unloading a whole bunch of straw. Is it unloading or is it loading? I guess it's unloading to load. I don't know. I think we're about to right here on the trailer. Pretty close to the end. This last wagon should about finish it off. This is the last part of our last wagon that we had left. There's probably about 35, 40 bales on there, but we've got our tractor trailer completely filled. And yeah, that's a good feeling. Now we won't have to worry about filling the tractor trailer again until next year, which we'll be ready. All the straw off my arm. The chickens will be attacking me while I'm collecting eggs. I wanted to get a start on taking care of animals, but I had no baskets, so I was down here grading some eggs. Check this out. This is a normal jumbo egg, right? Now look, I'm gonna pick up another jumbo egg and hold it right next to it. Do you see the difference there? That poor chicken, that's a big egg. I'm gonna eat that egg. I mean, sadly that egg was broken. So yes, I get to eat it, but just look at that thing. Look, here's jumbos. Jumbo, there's extra large, large, that's just a big ol' egg. Back up, ladies. We just got all the grain dumped in for the cattle. Dad has been feeding calves, so I think we're all finished with animals. The animals have been growing really, really well despite this really hot weather that we've had. It is gonna be cooler than what we have been dealing with in the next couple days, so that'll be really nice. But anyway, now that the animals are all taken care of, we're gonna be moving on to our next job. We're getting ready to pick some sweet corn, but Matthew and I have to do a little investigation before we can start picking. We need some broccoli back at the farm, but we're not sure if our last planting is far enough along that we can harvest it. It looks like there's some heads here, so we might just walk through the field, but we'll worry about that a little later on. Now, the past few times that we've been picking sweet corn, it's been just into our bushel crates or into the green baskets. But now we're moving on to big boy sweet corn harvest. We've got 2 bins on the truck. From what I understand, we either need 600 or 700 ears just for orders. So yeah, that's a lot of picking. Now, before I really get into it, as you can see, there's a lot of ears on the ground. This is crop damage. I don't know what was pulling them off. We've had trouble with a bear recently. As we get out through the field a little bit more, I could probably show you that. But I'm just gonna focus on picking for now and just trying to find some ears that are still on the stalk. $2.50. Well, here we have our first bin. This is just for an order. There's 400 ears of corn in there. The next bin that we pick, it's gonna be just for us. Now, if I had to pick a theme for this year so far, the theme might be crop damage. Whether it's the watermelons and cantaloupes, whether it's the peppers, the sweet corn, we've been having some trouble. Now, the sweet corn, probably one of the most important vegetables for us. We harvest a lot of this. It has been completely destroyed by skunks and bears. Right now, you can see all these ears that have been knocked over. They've been knocked over and chewed on. And these are by skunks after doing a little closer look. Now, sadly, a lot of this damage occurs, you know, like in the middle of the night, so there's not much we can do about it, but it's not good. We're finding quite a bit of damage. And it's not just the stalks that are knocked over. You can see this one has been munched on. It's still standing. And over here, this one has been munched on. Now, thankfully, we haven't had any trouble with the birds just yet in this stuff, but the skunks, ooh, they're a problem. Oh, look at this. This is a little bit of bear damage. You can see how the cobs are just stacked up. But this bear damage is nothing to what we've seen at the other end of the field, which I'll be showing that to you later on. We're gonna try and get one more bin of sweet corn picked. That's gonna be just for us, and then we'll be set on sweet corn for the day. Sweet corn's one of those vegetables we pick every day because when it's fresh, it's best. And the customers appreciate fresh produce. You can see this row, it's kind of clean, it doesn't look too bad. Then if I hop over, this row, there's a little bit further down, but there's not too much stuff. But let's go up here. Matt said his row was pretty nasty. Yeah, you can see how the stalks are just knocked over. Skunks and bears. Oh.
And raccoons, probably.
It's like a zoo out here. It's like a buffet. Now that we're picking for us, I don't need to worry about counting, which truthfully is one of the hardest things about picking sweet corn. Just trying to keep all your numbers straight. Who's ready for a quick lesson in picking sweet corn? Is that you? Yeah, you ready? I'm about to show you. Now you'll see as we go throughout these fields that we are harvesting pretty quickly. We don't seem to be too concerned about what we're picking. We're just pulling ears off the stalk and throwing it in the bin. But there's something very important that we're doing. We're keeping an eye on the silk. We're making sure that the silk is a nice dark brown and dried out color. And the reason for that is it helps us to appreciate that the corn is no longer pollinating. So it is all finished with pollinating. It's not gonna get any bigger than that. Another thing you'll take notice of is where our hand placement is. We are squeezing the top of the ear before we're pulling it off the stalk. And the reason why we're doing that is to make sure that the ear is completely filled out. Sometimes during pollination or from crop damage, the corn will not fill out all the way. But when we're squeezing the top of the ear, we can feel that the ear is rounded out all the way to the tip, which is what we want. Those are the two most important things we're looking for as we're harvesting, and that's what basically helps us to know if the corn is ready to come off the stalk or not. It may be kind of difficult to figure it out with your first few times harvesting, but after a while, you just pick up on it and it's much easier to learn. We just finished off a bin of corn for ourselves. We're gonna get this back to the farm market so the customers can come and pick it up. One thing I will note is that it is on the thin side, but as you can see from this ear Matthew is eating, even though they're a little thinner, they are long ears and they're completely filled out to the end. Two things that we don't mind with our sweet corn. I don't think we're gonna have any trouble selling this. We just need to get it back to the farm so that it can get going. Now this is about the time where we'd head back to the farm and get ready to go out and pick something else, but I've got some crop damage to show you guys. So we're going for a little walk to the other end of the field because if I tried to explain how bad it was to you, you wouldn't believe me. Like you guys need to see this for yourself. All right, we've made it to the section of field where it's really, really bad. So first thing you'll note is that we've got a lot of stalks knocked down, and that's not just from skunks, that's from the big problem, which is the bear. Now right here we have our first pile, and when we came here the other day, we counted, there's about 40 cobs on the ground here. The bear sat itself down and just started munching. And usually one spot's not too bad. You know, we understand the sweet corn's nice and tasty. Like, everybody's gonna wanna have a piece. But like I said, we move a little bit further down, and here's another giant pile of cobs on the ground. And then you see this giant pile of cobs? Let's move a little bit further. Oh, what's this over here? Another giant pile of cobs. And you can see the corn is completely taken off every single cob. You know, at least the bear doesn't waste the corn. That's kind of a positive. And then right next to it, so we've got one pile there, one pile there. Here's a third pile. So 4 piles all together, stacked high of corn cobs that have been completely munched off. So what the bear was doing is it was grabbing ears off the stalks, putting them onto piles, and then they sit down and they hold it and they eat it and husk it the same way we do. If you've never seen bears eating corn before, it's very impressive to watch. Now that being said, when it happens over and over again, and you're getting consistent damage like this, yeah, it's not a good thing. Now, over the past few years, we've kind of seen a run on bear damage. It's been kind of a string of it lately, but it doesn't happen forever because we keep moving patches. It seems that a bear will come, eat a bunch of sweet corn, and then leave, and it won't be back for a while. Occasionally, you'll see it in 2 patches, but this patch was hit really hard. It just happens that it was our first patch and it was one of the larger ones. So now, big question, what are we gonna do about all the crop damage that we see here with the skunks, the raccoons, and the bears? Probably nothing, because the damage happens in the middle of the night. That's when I'm sleeping. And thankfully it hasn't affected us too much. We're raising enough sweet corn and everything has looked really, really nice that it hasn't hindered us. Now, if this entire patch of sweet corn was wiped out, which this is about 4 or 5 weeks of harvesting, then we would have a big problem. Then we would be upset. Thankfully, the corn at the other end of the field, which was not ripe, is starting to ripen up. So we're gonna be able to pick here for a few more weeks. And then our next patch of sweet corn is at a different section of farm. And then our following patch of sweet corn, that's somewhere else. So we don't have to worry about the same bear causing too many problems. It just could be that there's skunks and raccoons at the other fields as well. As long as we can keep the crows out of them, we'll be happy, because the crows, ooh, they're a problem. Now, some positive things to keep in mind, some bright sides, because that's what we're all about here. I don't like talking about the gloom and doom too much. Your first few varieties of sweet corn, they are gonna be on the shorter side. That's a lot easier for the raccoons, the squirrels, the skunks, things of that nature to grab a hold of those ears and rip them off. And bears travel. They don't like to stay in one spot for too long. If it's a male bear, they have a wide range of territory that they cover. And if it's a female bear, well, they just are on to something else, I guess. They don't stick around in one area. The sweet corn is gonna get taller with the later plantings that we have. So the little critters, they're not gonna be much of a problem. And the bear damage, we can take that occasionally. Those are things we just like to keep in mind. And those are the bright sides that we will share with you. But like I said, I'm done with gloom and doom. I'm on to whatever we're picking next. It's gonna be fun.
Pickles.
Oh, never mind, it's not gonna be fun. I'm just kidding, as long as it's not peas.
Peas are no good.
But we're done picking them for the year. So that brings a smile to my face. Doesn't get much fresher than that. Oh my word, we can't have anything nice. Oh, they knocked all the baskets off the wagon. Oh no. Well, we've made it out to the field, and the next thing we're gonna be picking is pickling cucumbers. Now the plants aren't looking like anything special, so hopefully we find a decent amount here, but we're not expecting too much. Boys, we're here to get the pickling cucumbers. What are you doing all the way down there?
Looking at tomatoes.
Yeah, looking at tomatoes. That's fun. I enjoy that. Not only is looking at tomatoes fun, looking at watermelons is fun too. Look at these things. Boy, they are growing. Lots of melons, lots and lots of melons. They're not ready yet, but they are getting pretty close. Beautiful. Oh boy.
That looks pretty good, sugar baby.
That's so good. It's a little young yet, but boy, does that got some flavor. What's interesting is in a year like this, you'll see a lot of flavor when it's hot and dry because it concentrates the sugars in your different fruits and vegetables. They seem to have more flavor when you get less rain, which is very interesting. I won't lie, this picking is a lot of hard work, but these are the times that make you forget all about the hard work. When you're sitting down at dinner, you're eating everything you grow. Then when you're out in the field having a watermelon snack, with the intense heat we've had recently, we were expecting it to be kind of light with the pickling cucumbers, and that's what we're seeing today. A little on the light side, but that's okay. We're seeing a lot of blossoms, and I think on Monday, which will be the next time we pick these, they're gonna be just fine. I just got to my end of the row, and I think I got about a basket and a half of pickling cucumbers. We still have 2 more rows to finish, and it seemed like their rows were a little fuller than mine. Now with these pickling cucumbers, we'll probably be harvesting 2 or 3 more times, and then they're gonna be about at the end of their lives. They've done a great job at producing a lot of cucumbers. The pickling cucumbers have always looked great. We didn't run into too many problems with them, and it's only normal for them to start slowing down. But once we finish off these rows, I'm gonna take you down to our second planting and show you how close we are to harvesting that one. Just got finished harvesting all of the pickling cucumbers. They're getting started on the yellow zucchini, yellow squash, and green zucchini. But while they do that, I'm gonna take a quick walk down and check on the new planting. Here's the last planting of peppers that we put into the soil. They look really, really nice. This is the last planting of tomatoes that we put in. Again, looks amazing. We just laid some rows of mulch. This is gonna be for the last planting of pickling cucumbers, regular cucumbers, and zucchini. And down here we have the newest plantings of pickling cucumbers, regular cucumbers, and zucchini. Now from up here it may not look like too much is going on, but the second we start moving the plants around, you'll see we've got a lot of blossoms and small cucumbers on the way. Now these rows look beautiful. This is exactly what we like to see. And thankfully from the time of planting, during their growing process until now, we haven't ran into too many problems, and we've been able to keep them irrigated. Everything that we've recently transplanted has looked unbelievable. It's been growing really nice. The only trouble we seem to be having is with the, would it be first or second? It'd be the second planting of peppers. Those were a little tall when we planted them. They got wrecked by a nasty windstorm. It broke and snapped a lot of them off. So that's the only trouble we seem to be having, but everything else looks great. We're just gonna hope that things continue to grow nice and that the harvest continues to look just as good. I'm taking a little bit of time to look in a little bit more detail at these peppers just to see how much new growth we have coming. And you can see at the top of the plant, there's just a lot of growth springing out. That's good to see. That's very positive. Now we're gonna be taking the quad and the wagon down a little bit further in this field. We've got some more picking to do. Matthew's gonna stay here. He's gonna work on grabbing some herbs. And I think everybody's gonna be excited with what we're harvesting next. While I'm picking these sweet banana peppers, Daniel and Petey are over there grabbing some long hots. wonder if he wants to come pick some peppers. Probably not. There's a lot of peppers on these plants. They're just not all ready to be plucked off yet. We're gonna have to stay on top of them, or if they get any bigger, these plants get any fuller, the wind could knock them over and break them, and we don't want that to happen. Here are the beautiful sweet banana, and then over here are the long hot peppers, and then we also grabbed some green tomatoes. We were also able to grab these beautiful green Cubanelle peppers. Aren't they nice? Oh, they look delicious. We got a beautiful wagon here, pickling cucumbers, zucchini, yellow squash, green tomatoes, lots of peppers, and one big watermelon. Oh boy, isn't that a beautiful sight. Daniel, Petey, and my dad took the quad and the wagon over to grab some cabbage we needed for an order. I joined Matthew and we're picking some herbs. He's working on thyme right now, or rosemary, thyme and rosemary, and I was grabbing some parsley. We just got to get this bunched up and then we can take it home. Not a bad haul, not a bad haul. They look beautiful. For lunch today, it looks like we are having egg salad sandwiches and chicken salad sandwiches. Very good. All finished off with lunch, and now I'm down around back. I was working on moving some things around. For the afternoon, we've got a few different jobs we're gonna be working on. One, we need to haul a head of cattle today, so that's gonna be done. Two, we have some stuff up in front of the farm market that needs to be taken care of. Just some flowers, just a few different baskets that need to be like clipped and trimmed up a little bit. So at some point today, we're gonna have to take care of that. We also still have some straw down. So Daniel and Petey are working on that. I believe Petey is going through and raking it. It got dry enough today. We did get 3/10 of an inch of rain last night, but we're thinking it probably dried out. So hopefully we can get that all raked, and then Daniel's gonna go through and bale it with the round baler. And on top of all that, we need someone here to help at the farm market, and that's what I'm gonna be doing. So if anything exciting pops up, I'll be sure to show you, but I'm not thinking it's gonna be too crazy this afternoon. After we got done with work, we made our way home. Lauren's got something special for dinner tonight. As you can see, we've got enchiladas. And you know who loves enchiladas? Did you hear what we're having for dinner tonight?
Enchiladas.
Yep, that's why he's here.
I have not had these in like 3 years.
3 years, yeah, right, buddy.
Lauren hasn't been feeling well, so it's been like 3 years since I had my favorite enchiladas.
Can you believe Pop Pop's telling stories? Oh yeah. Does Pop Pop tell stories?
No.
What? We've got Pop Pop, Mimi, and Grammy down here. We're getting ready to sit down at the table and eat our dinner. So that means this is where we're gonna end the video today. I'm gonna do something a little different. If you made it this far, don't forget to like the video. Also, if you're not subscribed, now would be a great time to do that. We're trying to get larger. We're trying to grow more just like our fields. Hey, thank you everybody for stopping. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.